Not so long ago I've made this amazing video, and in it I've said that if it does well, I'll cover the whole I have no mouth and I must scream game. Let's just say that it did in fact do well. So as I promised...
Which of you five would like to play my little game?
Just look at this beautiful place. Can it even get any better? Amazing landscapes, warm atmosphere, and an eternity of pure agony. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, or IHNMAIMS for short, yeah man, I don't know about this one, is a game adaptation of a book with, surprise surprise, the same title. Behind both of them stands this madman right here, Harlan Ellison. You might not know him that well, but he did appear in Scooby-Doo once, and if it still isn't enough, his creation is widely considered to be the birth of characters such as Ultron. Honestly, most of the evil sentient AI could be put here. But coming back to the game, when you first boot it up, you're instantly met with absolute peak
Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live.
This right here is the hate monologue said by the one and only Am. Right at the start there is a lot to unpack here. Where are we? Who are we? Why the spooky voice hates us so much? What mouth is the title talking about? Despite what many people might think looking at the scenery, this game doesn't in fact take place in the best 3-star hotel in Turkey. This is actually the center of the earth, and we are currently stuck in there. I said we as there isn't a single main protagonist, rather a group of 5 humans to choose from, with each one of them having their own unique backstory surrounding the machine. Something else to notice is how there is no waypoints, no linear campaign or any real missions, no objectives, just nothing. This is something that you'll quickly need to get used to, as this game won't ever hold your hand. My first playthrough was a golden ticket to getting hired as an IGN game journalist. But let's get back to the more interesting stuff. Let's finally play this bad boy. So, who do we pick? Luckily, this doesn't really matter. Every single story will play out in the same way, no matter who we choose. It also won't affect the ending. So, starting from the left.
Gorister!
Oh, Gorister, my favorite heartless wife beater. In his sequence, we start off stranded on a zeppelin. Instantly, we notice a note right under our feet. It reads, "I'm a friend. Trust is essential. Never do what Am expects and always expect more than what seems possible." Am is playing a dangerous game here, and not just dangerous to you, but also dangerous to himself as well. After that, the note disappears. Kinda weird and cryptic. Moving to our next room, we find a mirror. After taking a glance, you realize that there is a huge hole in your chest. Dude, how are you still standing? Walking around it a bit longer, we find some more interesting stuff. There is a whole dining area that seems to have been caught in a fight. Gorister realizes that too, giving a quick comment before moving on to the kitchen. There we can find a fork, a knife, and a recipe for the milk of human kindness, whatever that is. Leaving the kitchen and going to the engine room, Gorister can use his amazing hot wiring skills to gently turn off the engine. But before he can move forward, he pays one more visit to the dining room and biblically washes his hands off the past so he can now die in peace. Speaking of dying, our next stop is the top of the Zeppelin. Using the knife to cut open a hole in the airbag, we emerge onto the outside deck and realize that our heart is stuck on the long pointy thing. Bro, what is this plot? Waking up our inner Kik Potowski, we manage to safely retrieve it using a rope made out of old bed sheets. Now all we got left to do is to somehow get back onto solid ground, and what better way to do it than just slice the airbags, because surely it can't be that bad. By some absolute miracle, the Zeppelin thought that yeah, it was a brilliant idea, and in return parked us right in front of the Gorister's gas station. And let me just tell you, this place is a ton of fun. You can indulge in activities such as listening to your past mistakes, talking with a devil dog, and my personal favorite, using the urinal to teleport to your frozen mother-in-law. Sometime later, a weird man arrives, and turns out it's Gory Boy's dad. As every dad in his 60s, he speaks total gibberish until you pour him a few drinks.
Let me pour you a drink.
During that amazing family reunion, it is revealed that it was in fact us that got into a fight back in the dining room. In an even bigger fact, we actually died there. Harry and Edna, whom are Gorister's in-laws, had a plan to give Am his heart in return for Glynis, their daughter, aka Gorister's wife. She was actually a mental asylum patient, and both of her parents blamed Gorister for driving her crazy and, unfortunately, committing something. This completely broke him. After all, he wasn't the best husband, always too busy working and often letting emotions get the better of him, with one situation ending up with Gorister hitting Glynis. Yet now he's finally realized that he's not the only one to blame. Gorrister finally forgives himself and makes amends with his past. All that's left to do now is to come back to the freezer and talk to Glynis. We take her off the hook, give her one last kiss, and just like that, she's finally gone. But Gorrister isn't sad. He's actually really happy that he managed to right his wrongs after such a long time. We leave the gas station before the thunderstorm comes, and I love this part. Use their bitch of a mother-in-law as energy source, strapping her to a harness and taking off in the Zeppelin. Taking one last peek at his gas station, Gorrister takes out a flare gun and shoots it, making the whole place explode into a fireball. This is the end of his sequence. We get teleported back to our cage, and just like that, he's not playable anymore. He actually beat Am, didn't give in to his nature, and defeated the past that was keeping him prisoner for the past century. Next in line is Ellen.
Ellen!
Ellen has a very special place in my heart. First, because she's the most annoying little shit in Ted's story, but also because she's frantically afraid of the color yellow. Straight from the bat, the whole map is yellowish, with the only exception being that weird electrical pyramid. Walking inside, we find ourselves in a large hall with a fountain in the middle and one single passage visible. Moving forward, there is a room with a ton of computer screens on the walls and one more corridor leading to the unknown. Do not try to enter that room, as it's home to the friendliest stray dog in South Poland. Instead, resort to using the sheer strength of an average single mother to rip some wires straight from the wall. Exploring the newly opened door, Ellen finds herself in an Egyptian museum, where unsurprisingly we get a panic attack after trying to pick up a piece of yellow fabric. Luckily, second try is the charm and we manage to pick it up. This single piece of material is a game changer, as it allows Ellen to cover her eyes and walk past yellow segments of the map. Just like that, we can now simply walk past the Sphinx, grab the Holy Grail right in front of his face, and get back to safety. Now you can finally get yourself a huge sip of that weird electric pyramid water. Surely there's no E. coli in there. Fully hydrated, we can move over to the museum and talk to the Anubis. You know what, why even bother talking? Let's just pour some water on him and steal his insides. That's a lot better of an idea. Going further into the rooms, don't forget to steal a sapphire from this statue, and don't even bother trying to pick up the CD, you can't for now, and it pisses me off every time I play through Ellen's part. Go to the next room, do some hacker magic, brainwash Anubis, and boom, now you can peacefully enter the sarcophagus. No clue why anyone would want to do that, but sure you do, Ellen. Ellen gets teleported into an elevator with some strange yellow uniform laying on the ground. During that ride, we find out why exactly she's so afraid of yellow out of all things.
You left your office after working late at the Inside Corporate Headquarters building. The elevator stopped at the 7th floor for a maintenance man. To your horror, he inserted his key into the control panel and locked the elevator.
See, while riding an elevator, Ellen was assaulted by someone wearing a yellow cleaning uniform. But there is a way out of there. Simply beat the shit out of him with a chalice like there's no tomorrow and then dip.
So the sarcophagus was the way out of here.
We now find ourselves in Am's center core. Moving forward, we end up in the same room where we previously hacked some stuff. But this time when we get there, the computer starts speaking to us.
That would be telling.
This something isn't Am, it's actually trying to help us. We get a full-blown tutorial on how to make some weird computer translator thing, and we get to work as soon as possible. All of a sudden, this bitrate waterfall appears, and in it hides a face. The entity tells us it's Am's innocence, which in reality is just a variant of the Chinese computer. Wait, what's the Chinese computer, you're asking? You'd know that if you've watched my Am video, for God's sake. It tells us how there is a method to destroying Am, but we got to be super careful as there might not be any second chances. With that mysterious message, it suddenly leaves us with nothing else to do, so Ellen can now finally activate the Chaos Trebler, causing some serious damage to our surroundings. But before any of that can happen, Am interferes, teleporting us back to our little yellow box. This leaves us with only 3 people left. Following our previous role, that being going from left to right, we are now on Benny.
Benny!
Benny the monkey boy. Once a general striking fear into even the toughest foes, now an ape-like creature with huge genitals. No idea why the book had to specify that part. We get teleported into a quite bizarre place. It looks like some sort of an ancient civilization. But before you can start exploring, you first need to fall down these stairs. Moving on, we reach the caves, aka the main mission area. Exploring its surroundings, we find a fruit tree. Sadly, we can't really eat any of its fruits as Benny's throat has been completely fucked due to what Am used to do with him. Jesus Christ, now that I'm recording this, it does not sound as good as I imagined. Shortly after arriving, you come to realize that for these people, Am is a god. There are monitors with his logo all over the place. Even stranger is that Am actually speaks to the village elder, telling him exactly what to do on the upcoming day. Oh yeah, and they also have to sacrifice someone every day so that Am doesn't obliterate them. It's quite funny how in this mission, if you don't progress in the correct way, you will become the sacrifice and the sequence will end forcing you to restart. Look! A single mother and her fatherless child, a perfect household to force ourselves into. As a gift, we bring them a fruit from the tree, which they gladly accept. The son uses some weird screen translator technology to tell us everything that's been happening in the village. Ending the conversation, we venture on to find some food. Luckily, there is a basket right next to us, which leads to an easy yoink. But just like before, we can't eat it, as the pain while chewing is just too unbearable. You know what, I'm not even gonna write anything else here, I'll just play you the clip.
Amazing. This woman digested the food and then regurgitated it back to me, like a bird feeding its young.
After irreversibly damaging my eyes, we can peacefully go to sleep now. Only to find out that the next morning the mum has gone missing. Oh, I wonder where she's at. Witnessing an average morning in Birmingham, we decide to explore a different part of the map. There lie graves of Benny's former comrades whom he himself killed for various different reasons. They all scold Benny for not changing even after all this time, yet he's determined to prove them wrong and atone for his sins once and for all. Coming back to the village, we have a quick chat with the boy and decide to make protecting him our duty, but we'll start from tomorrow. Waking up, we decide to do some snooping in the elder's house, and lo and behold, we find the lottery bag. Now all we got to do is hide it and everyone's safe. Right? Heading back to the graves, it's revealed that there is in fact a fourth one hidden beneath the vines, the grave of Brickman. Weirdly enough, even though Benny killed him, a simple flower squashed the beef, truly an epic bro moment. Back to the village, and the elder is now desperately looking for his bag, as if there won't be a sacrifice, there won't be no tomorrow. But that's something we got to worry on the next day. Let's still try and make the most out of this one. And look, we made the doll, now the boy has something to play with. Out of nowhere again, we get contacted by some unknown entity claiming to be working for the Russian master computer.
Well, it's about time you hid the kid. I was beginning to have my doubts about whether you'd make it this far, even with my help.
It tells us that it's thanks to it that the child managed to make a translator using the screen to communicate with us. In short, the Russian and the Chinese computers are plotting to overthrow Am, but they need the help of our 5 humans in order to do so. Yapfest over, time for some good old sleep. Waking up the next day, the boy is gone. Turns out that Am told them where both the boy and the bag are, so yeah, all we did up until now was kinda pointless. Yet there is one last glimmer of hope, and that is for Benny to offer himself as a sacrifice. Also, why the fuck does Benny have 3 arms in this last section? With that, we get onto the altar and get struck by Am's destruction beam. The last thing I want to touch on is this quick piece of dialogue Am has with Benny, talking about how he sent Benny amongst prey to finally let him indulge in his hunger. Because for the people that haven't seen my Am video, you should watch that. There's a deleted scene of the original Benny mission where he eats a child.
Nimdak!
Do I even have to write an introduction? Just look at this place, man. We are of course in a certain World War II camp. Talking to the starving prisoner right next to us, we are instantly called by our name. This guy seems to absolutely hate us, pressing us all the time with no remorse. Moving on to the other side of the map, we got some sort of a building complex. Walking through the door, we are again recognized by some man telling us about an operation that's about to proceed. And of course, we are the ones that will be operating on someone, and by operating it means mutilating some poor dude. See, Nimdok, whose real name is unknown and this one is only something that the machine chose for him because it sounded funny, used to work as a doctor alongside Dr. Mengele. We are playing as one of World War II's most horrific butchers. Back to the game, we are not alone in the operating room. There is another doctor here who's supposed to help us in the procedure. Talking to him, we instantly realize how high up the ranks Nimdok really was. The dude was completely shitting himself. He had every answer perfectly memorized, as any slip up would most likely cost him his life. So I mean, if he was prepared for it, why not just do it anyways? We murk the guard, grab all the stuff we can and run away. Ending up in the recovery room where, yeah, nobody recovering from shit here. They will almost likely end up in the next room, the crematory. From there we can steal some pliers and a gold watch, that'll be useful later. Leaving that awful place, we find one prisoner who got caught in the barbed wire while trying to escape. He has a quick chat with Nimdog, during which we begin our redemption arc. First giving him some ether to ease the pain, and then using the pliers to cut the wires. While all this time there is a guard watching. Dude, you absolutely suck at your job. We also have a second convo with the other dude, with us full on giving him the pliers. While all the time that Stevie Wonder cosplayer is behind us not giving a single fuck about any of it. Alright, nothing else to do here, let's just check up on our patient from earlier. Giving him some ether, the dude starts to say some very weird stuff, but we'll go over that one later.
A trinity of three beasts, one like us, one from the east, one from the steppes. They speak in numbers.
After having that sick convo, we steal his eyes, talk to some random child and get back to the main yard. Oh no, look, it's the friendliest group of Taylor Swift fans. They caught me lacking. They kick us out the camp and now we are stuck outside with a wall of faces right behind us. Being socially awkward, Nimdog runs into the bunker where he finds some of his past inventions, like the DNA reshaping serum seen in the bottom left. Yet the best thing is still hidden below us. Ladies and gentlemen, the golem. We can use the previously stolen eyes and put it in the golem's sockets. Then we got to speak the truth. In Nimdog's case, it's all connected to his quote-unquote job and the pain he's caused. Lastly, we have to now kiss the golem. Okay, who the fuck was making the rules, bro? It turns out that Nimdog is so good at making out with tall dark men that the golem is under his full control from now on. Heading upstairs, we find Dr. Mengele waiting for us. Yeah, he's not surviving this one. Escaping the lab, we got one more dude waiting for us. The prisoner from the camp has found us. Nimdog, still on his redemption arc, transfers control over the golem to the prisoner. In return, he sends the golem to curb stomp us for all our sins.
Ted!
Last but not least, we have Teddy. Oh boy, this is a long one. We start off by spawning next to this huge octagon building, and no, you cannot swallow it, trust me, I've tried. Inside it, there are 5 monitors, each representing something different. Clicking on the castle one, we get teleported right outside of its main door. Unfortunately, we can't just stand here as a pack of wolves gained interest in us and are starting to get closer. Inside the castle, we are now forced to read. Yes, I know, who even reads nowadays? After exploring countless rooms and reading even more books, here's all the important info. There exists an entity that rules the abyss, called Surgat, Opener of Locks. Yeah, that's really all we needed from these books. Entering a different room, we find our sleeping princess. It's Ellen, and she's gonna be a real pain in the ass over here. Also, for the people that haven't read the book, Ted is basically mad in love with her. The story revolves around Ellen wanting to finally die peacefully, and Ted, being the egotistical jerk, wants her to keep on living. He needs to learn that it's best for him to finally let go and let her rest. And to do that, all she needs is her hand mirror. Sadly, as you might have guessed, it's way more complicated than just to open a cabinet and give it to her. We leave the room and keep on searching, finally ending up in some demonic chapel. In there, Ted finds a secret room leading to the unknown. Before heading down, he steals the evil devil butt plug from one of the gargoyles and descends into the darkness. Of course, it's some ritual chamber, why wouldn't it be? But we can't really do anything with it yet. Emerging back up and ready for more, we stumble into the kitchen where we find a maid. Talking to her, Ted asks about the mirror's whereabouts, yet to no avail. But she does mention some ugly woman that runs the castle. Asking about the mirror again, she offers us this amazing deal. We politely decline, surely not because the maid's face is sharper than a right triangle. Leaving the kitchen, we spot some shadows talking in the chapel. And of course, as in every spooky place, we go to check it out. Inside the ritual chamber, we find the ugly lady the maid told us about. Turns out that she's a witch that also has interest in the mirror. Coming back to the main hall, we hear the wolves. They are right outside the gate. Ted, doing some quick thinking, uses the demonic butt plug to get the door back in its original place. Then all he has to do is push the near armor to the ground to create a makeshift barricade, and just like that, we are safe from the wolves. Back in Ellen's room, we find the devil. He's here waiting for Ellen to die so he can take her soul to hell. No, that cannot happen. To save Ellen, we speedrun a magic course and put the witch to sleep, summoning Surgat. Also, did I mention that the witch offered to help if only Ted slept with her? That's fucking gross. Surgat gives a deal of his own, Ellen's soul for exchange to a portal to the surface world. Once again, we decline. But we do give him some of our own blood so that he can open the previously locked door in the kitchen. Thanks to that, we can now access the witch's room. There we find a crucial piece of information, a tapestry of the devil looking into Ellen's hand mirror. Right as we walk into a room, an angel materializes right in our face. Bro, everyone wants Ellen's soul. After pressing the devil a bit, Ted finally finds Ellen's mirror. We let her take a glance, and just like that, Ellen passes away peacefully. Then we use the same mirror to banish the devil, and hooray! Ellen's soul goes to heaven! Ted brings that mirror down to the ritual room, breaking it and releasing the devil into the circle, using him as leverage to bargain with Surgat. Surprisingly, he shows us the surface world, yet as we might have guessed already, it's all in shambles. That's when Am finally has enough and brings us back to reality. Now, there's one last thing to discuss: the ending. After all 5 missions are done, the previous entities that tried to communicate with us come back. They can teleport one human into Am's brain to finally finish him off. This is where we can unlock one of 7 possible endings. 6 of them are bad endings and only 1 is good. Exploring Am's brain, we find a few key places. First, the huge pillars with a face on it. Those are the ego, superego, and ID. Just like in humans, they all form who Am really is. Next, we got the character-specific section. There will be places requiring certain characters to complete, like this one with skulls and barbed wire that requires us to play Nimdok, and use Access, aka the pliers, to once and for all atone for our sins and actually die. Lastly, we got the Burning Altar. This is the space where you will be confirming what ending you want to play out. It will all depend on the things that you summon in it, so you better be careful. So now let's touch on the 7 endings. First, the 5 lesser ones. All of them are considered bad endings simply because your character doesn't die and instead is changed to this jelly monstrosity to suffer forever. The 6th ending is where it starts to get interesting. See, remember this guy from Nimdok's story? The one that talked some weird nonsense after getting some ether? So it turns out that it has a much deeper meaning than we originally thought. First, the Trinity could mean 2 things. Either the 3 computers that merged to create Am, this is the American, Chinese and Russian computers, or it could mean the ego, superego and ID that combined make what Am really is. But most likely it's about the supercomputers, considering how he said one is like us, one from the east and one from the steppes. The east one is the Chinese, the one from the steppes is the Russian, and the one like us is the American, as in the game Am refers to the Americans as the sons of man. Next, he also said something about the lost tribe of brothers sleeping on the moon. This is something that Sorgat tells us about when we summon him there. There is a human colony located on the moon that Am has allegedly no idea of. Even the patient calls it unseen by the beasts. To trigger our desired ending, we have to complete all the character-specific segments. After that, awaken the ego and the superego. Next, we need to summon the Russian and Chinese entities. And after all that's done, just use the entropy on the Russian entity and boom, we got an ending. In there, 4 out of 5 humans died, the last one is left quote-unquote monitoring the machines, and somehow, literally no idea how, Am manages to suspend the life functions of everyone in the lunar colony, and so wiping out all of humanity for good. This was originally planned as the best ending in the whole game, yet after the production team saw it, they pushed for Ellison to create just one more, something that will satisfy the people's need for a happy ending. And with that, we move over to ending number 7. In there, everything plays out in the same way like in the previous one, with the only exception being that the colony survives and Am perishes forever. Our humans do finally rest in peace, and in 300 years, the Earth will finally become habitable once again. This, ladies and gentlemen, was I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Or at least the plot of the game. See, this series isn't lengthy by any means. Doing a quick Google search, you can find that the whole book in PDF has less than 20 pages, and the game, as you could already see, has only 6 playable levels, that even though the first playthrough will take you less than 10 hours to complete. Yet it is packed with lore to the brim. It's like every time I decide to go back and replay the game, I find new stuff, new details, new meaning. Things that could only be understood by going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. For example, why everyone wanted to fuck Ted. This is something you need to go deeper into the lore to understand. And honestly, if I wasn't in charge of doing everything myself, while also going to college every day, it would most likely still be an hour of the video left. Sadly, it would take me about an extra month at least to pull that thing off. And also, I don't really like or want to show you 100% of what this franchise really is. I grew up watching mostly Pyrocynical's game essays, and as much as I loved them, they never made me try the game in question, as I already knew every single detail. But here, almost every little cryptic thing requires you to do some digging to further understand it. As I said, the book is available online in a PDF format, completely free, and the game costs like $5 on Steam, so please be sure to check them out for yourself. I promise you won't be disappointed. But with that out out the way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. I promise it won't be a third I have no mouth video. Take care and peace, people. Bye bye.